Hey kids, Dean with Crypto the Wonder Dog. Hey, have you guys heard about this this new cool show that's going to be happening in City of Angels? This is and you know what I'm talking about, North American Sports Blockchain Conference coming up August 6th, 7th, and 8th. You'll want to get there late on the 6th because it's only going to be a party. It's going to be a party every day anyway, but the 6th is going to be a VIP welcome reception party. Schmoozing with some of the elite in sports, some of the top dogs that are going to be there. Can't release any names yet, but keep watching. We're going to have some announcements, some really cool announcements coming up soon. We have a nice full schedule. If you come on over to nasbc.co, we have a little bit of write-up on here, and you can look through the who's speaking. And speaking of who's speaking, Nikita, she is probably one of the greatest women in crypto, and one of very few that can get just invited to anything that she wants to. She is so smart when it comes to this. Very bright, very knowledgeable about the space, and she's making her way around the world a number of times. And I think that she's just jet setting like crazy. We're lucky to have her. We're very happy to have her as the host for the show. Ian Scarf, who is the ambassador for the NASBC, he's the blockchain advisor and a consultant. So if you need something ambassed, I think Ian's the guy to do it. He's the ambassador. Also, another guy that I'm sure you've seen everywhere if you're on LinkedIn, David Drake, LDJ Capital. He was kind enough to give me a few minutes of his time, and we had a great show together. Eamon Donlan, man, this guy, we've been doing sports shows. We've kind of put him on hold a little bit. He's made his way over to Ireland also. Christian Kamir, and we also do a regular What's Up show. I don't know What's Up. I don't know why I said What's Up. It's not a What's Up show. It's what's going on in the world of people that wanting to get in, wanted to know about this stuff like ICOs, wallets, exchanges, and he's a blockchain 101. If you go to our shows, check him out. Christian, he's very laid back when he talks. He's just the epitome of cool, and he's given some really great advice, and he's not afraid to let you know when you're messing up, and he will let you know right away. If you've got an ICO and he smells anything little doesn't like the smell of it, he's gonna toss you away and go tell you what to do. Fix it, come back if you want him to help you out. And then just a slew of other people that are going to be involved with this. More coming soon. Also, the sponsors. We have some really great sponsors on board right now. The guys over at SportVest, they've got some feet on the ground for us. The Soho Loft Group, they've been kind enough to do some PR for us. And plenty more. Also, the tickets. If you guys know my buddy over at Sarab at FCFL, you may want to give them a call. We've got some really great deals on tickets, but only through them. Get a hold of the FCFL; they'll let you know how to get them. And it's not just like a nickel off. This is a really good deal. But you gotta get through the guys over at FCFL. The venue, JW Marriott downtown LA. If you guys haven't been there, man, this is one hell of a place. Check it out, man. I walked by there the other night. We were at an event, Christian and I, and it's quite a sight to behold. The social media for us, they didn't have the names, but if you don't know what a Twitter bird is, or a picture of a camera, or the F for Facebook, just click right on them. Take you right to us. Also, if you want to check out the sponsor deck, it's right there. This will take you right over here to the North American Sports and Blockchain deck. This is PDF. It's quite sizable, about 16 megs, so give it a sec to download. And this also has all of our speakers, sponsors, locations, and it has the agenda. It has the agenda for the 6th, 7th, and 8th. If you're interested in being a speaker, give us a call, talk to us. We'll put you on here. We'll squeeze you in. It's going to be a cram-packed 2 days. And some of the speakers that we have are just going to be great. You're going to want to absolutely be there. We're going to stream this live on YouTube. If you've got ICO that you want to talk to us, and you're there, we're going to stream this live to the nation, to the world, or at least the ones that allow us in. Here's our sponsor opportunities, the exhibitors, the silver sponsor, gold sponsor, and presenting sponsor. We've also got some additional sponsor opportunities if you want to get your name tossed around out there, if you have a booth to show. And then the ICO, man, we don't talk about this enough. We've got an ICO pitch that we're going to have some of the greatest VCs there. You're going to want to be part of this. If you've got something you want to say it here. And it's just like a sports bracket, man. We're going to go head to head, knocking people off, knocking them off left and right. If you think your CO's got what it takes, if you're the, I forgot what basketball team just won the March Madness, but if you're the equivalent in ICO, put your name on here. You might walk away with something other than just a little gold trophy. Today, you will be able to get your tickets on Eventbrite today, tomorrow, and for the next couple of weeks. So they're going to run out. These shows, they don't last forever, and the tickets, they're quite hot. They're like that, like the golden ticket in the Willy Wonka bars. You want to get one. Today's show, we had our buddy Simon Cocking. Everyone's my buddy. You know that. Everyone's my buddy. Simon Cocking from Ireland. And he just moved into a new place. And he's been so hard to get a hold of, but we finally got him. And I don't know what he's been doing at work, but he's a busy man. Besides playing Frisbee occasionally, he's also out there stirring up the tech news at the IrishTechNews, and then Cryptocoin.news. He's also a ranked advisor, #1 ranked advisor on ICObench. So I advise you, if you want your ICO ranked, get whatever they do at ICObench. That's the man that you're gonna want to get friends with, because he'll let you know. He's not gonna let anything slip by him. And he's been moving and shaking, and he's not letting any moss grow around this guy, man. No mold on his rocks. I tell you, he's moving and shaking. So people get upset whenever a few things happen, like you're walking with your phone. Your iPhone, and you can't get to eBay as fast as you can, so you can buy that freaking purse or whatever, or you're on a website and it's loading for a few seconds. Give it. Seriously, you're gonna get mad at that? Okay, let me see you build an iPhone, huh? Let me see you build an iPhone. Get your data up moving faster than these little guys over that build these things. They're a miracle. They are truly a miracle. And when you chalk into somebody across the world, and something goes wrong, give it a break. Seriously, it's if you can make it better, please let me see you do it. It will look like Simon is some kind of a bot, and he's running out of batteries a couple of times, but it's not him. No, he's full of batteries. He's moving and shaking. But somehow the internet just slowed down. I've never seen this before, but it seriously looked like he just ran out of batteries. So please forgive the technical difficulties that we're having. We're still working them out. We're still working the kinks out, man. You know, this is a one-man show, one puppy show. So this is it, man. This is what we got. It's running, and it's fun. But here's a show. Simon Cocking of CryptocoinNews, cryptocoin.news, and editor-in-chief IrishTechNews. All right, you guys ready to start the show? All right, let's start the show. Okay, let's see how that's going to work out. I can probably fix this post a little bit, but you know.
Okay.
All right, man. Well, we're recording, so Simon, man, glad I finally got to sit down with you. You know. Why is that audio? Why is it? It should be switching back and forth.
It's been difficult.
There we go. Okay. So, what's you're involved in a whole lot of things over there, and a lot of them are obviously crypto related, and some of them aren't. But what's your biggest project you got going on right now?
Look, I guess from last autumn through to January, I did a little bit of ICO advisory, and then a friend of mine said, "Oh, you and I, we're both in the top 10 for ICObench," and that was kind of sweet and funny because I didn't even know about it. And so he was kind of telling me because he was at about 6, and so I think he wanted to brag a little bit, you know. So he's called Ruben Godfrey, and it's quite nice in that we've known each other a long time, but then he moved into crypto, and then from what I do in the media, people ask me to work to help ICOs too.
Yeah.
And then by going to the top 10, it's like Google first page results. I then went to 3, and then 2, and then 1, and then the inbox with LinkedIn just went crazy for about the last 4 months.
Yeah.
I'm just back from Kiev, Tbilisi, and Amsterdam talking about ICO trends. So now I'm very much working out for the rest of the year, working with much fewer and working out what does it look like. And then even last year I got asked to help co-found cryptocoin.news as a dedicated crypto media site. And that's been very interesting, and it's helped to be a lightning rod for trends to see what's going on. So I guess the nice thing is that while you work on a lot of different things, you can often leverage insights from one into other people that you talk to, because you can say, look, I saw this, or you might want to think about that.
Yeah, so I'm going to pull up CryptocoinNews up here if I could find that. So I had the IrishTechNews too. You're
yeah. So I guess the good thing with IrishTechNews is that I guess over 4 years we did a lot and we learned a lot, and you could say like our traffic tripled in February or March. So we kind of became an overnight success after 4 years of very steady growth.
Overnight.
And you know, yeah, exactly. You know, but you know, suddenly your ratings and your rankings go through the roof. But we realized it's because of a long tail, and so you know, everyone talks about going viral, but really I think actually if you have a strong back catalog and you've been doing the right things for a while, that's the real way to grow. It's not about dreaming about having a one-time viral hit. It's about being consistent and building a following. So I think with IrishTechNews we did that, and with cryptocoin.news it's much younger, but it's coming up faster because we can cross leverage things that we know worked. Although one thing on the other hand was, I guess whatever you do, you always keep looking at the data to see what's the data telling me. Like otherwise you just think things are going to happen, but the data might be wrong or different. So with IrishTechNews, the data showed us Monday through Friday people like to read about tech stories. So I've just figured that would be the same for crypto.
Yeah.
And those were all counterintuitive from the headset that I brought into it, whereas traffic was peaking from Friday through Sunday, and then normally holiday periods and Christmases it would normally tank, whereas it was the opposite. And this very much showed me, and I guess in hindsight you could say it's obvious, but crypto and the whole area is something that people are learning about in their downtime. and therefore it's almost somewhere between a leisure activity and something that people are doing, when they have a few spare minutes, not necessarily during working time.
Well, when I got into it, I kind of the opposite. I spent way too much time during my work time trying to figure out what the heck this is, and I think it went into like 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, and pretty much getting no sleep because I thought it was so freaking cool that all this stuff was happening.
Although I would say with that, and I was talking to a friend yesterday, those are when you make the biggest trading mistakes. When you fall asleep at the wheel, or you're tired, or you get fished. And I can think of 2 different good friends who've made mistakes between 2 and 5 in the morning.
Oh my God!
So I'd say try not to do the big transactions at that time of day.
Yeah, I try not to. But I got fished. I got taken. People trying to do the whole you got to buy this thing, you got to buy it. So I jump in, and of course at the top, and then it just falls apart. But
look, I think it's very interesting that we keep looking at, are there actual annual trends yet? Are there cycles that we can discern? Is there a pattern to what's going on, or is it still a very immature market? And I think it's a bit of both. I mean, you probably saw John McAfee sent out a lovely visual tweet about how for the last 4 years, every year in the lead up to Chinese New Year, value of Bitcoin falls, and there could be strong cultural reasons for this. So maybe that's an annual trend. At the same time, every year we're never quite sure what the rest of the roller coaster year is going to be like.
No. I just did a show with a guy, Bo Polney, and he seems to have his finger on the pulse of what these trends are. And he told me a few weeks ago when to jump out. I actually did. He was right on the money, man. I got out. I saved myself, and I was able to jump back in at a better rate.
Look, I mean, I think the problem is that you still have too few people holding too many of most of the major cryptocurrencies.
Yeah.
So the problem, and also without having to name individuals, some of them don't even see that as insider trading. So you still have a very immature market where people can do things because there are certain ones I'm optimistic about overall, but you have to have the asterisks. It's still, volatility is still going to be around, and I'll see 5 to 8% trends in changes in Ether from day to day, because if one person decides they want to dump 1,000 coins or something, so overall there's a lot of great stuff about why crypto is good, but on the other hand, the challenge is there's still too few people own too many of them.
That's right. Yeah, especially that. Was it a few weeks ago? There was a 50 billion or 5 billion drop all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And
it's like Satoshi Nakamoto was just clearing out his sock drawer or something.
Yeah. Yes. Dusting off getting the change out of the couch.
Yeah.
So
now, I'd say one thing though, I was having a good chat with Bobby Lee, who founded the first Chinese trading exchange, and he doesn't think that first batch will ever really be cashed in. And in some ways, I think that that's quite good for now, that the people who built this, as for all the good reasons why they built it, it wasn't a money play. It was to show the value of decentralized currency. So while we joke, I think other people might sell off, but I think maybe that the Genesis block and the earliest ones, I think aren't going to be sold for a while.
Yes. And there is that. What happened to all those coins, and what happens when they do flood back into the market here. And you also so tell me about Jillian. You guys have been working together on which network?
I guess with it being Ireland, I would know her from IrishTechNews, and then like a few people, once they saw that I had co-founded CryptocoinNews, they kind of came to me and said, this is an area I'm very interested in. It's great to have someone who knows on the same page as you, and when you can't physically go everywhere, you've got other people that you can say, look, I can't go, but she could be a great person and passionate.
Yeah. She we had a great talk. I don't know if you got to see the interview that I did with her, but she did great. And what a crazy story that she had from going from couch surfing to changing laws in Ireland.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I think it's still about people, and I think, I guess if we look at that with, what's the credible ICO, it's the same thing. It's, who are the people? What have they done before? What's their backstory? Are they relatable, engaging, visible online presence? So I think it's this thing. It's not that you have an online and an offline persona anymore. Your digital presence is your calling card these days. And, I think it shows if you're genuine or not,
Yes, and that's kind of a lot of people that I've been meeting. That seems to be everyone's story right now, early on in the game. Even though it really is. I mean, since 2009 or whatever. But like myself, I've only been in this since December, and it seems like I've been in it for like 10 years.
Well, yeah, and I guess even so, like these various books. So with this book, we reviewed this one, right? And it's like how to ICO in Singapore. Okay. It's written in August, and so in many ways it's good, and in many ways it just feels that there's a lot that needs updating because things have moved so fast
since August.
Yeah, completely. Even in less than 10 months, there are bits in that just need to be completely rewritten or updated. So that's the thing, that we're talking about stuff that even something that's over a year old is relatively inaccurate and not in date anymore.
Yeah, and it just moves so fast. And we were thinking that a few years ago that when you get an iPhone and then 6 months later you got to get another one. But now it's like you get into the space and you're in it for a week and you're already behind. You got to your data's already behind.
Yeah, look, I think it's partly because some things are still a little bleeding edge, which on one hand provides great opportunities, but we're waiting to see, with the new proposed updates to Ethereum, and other people are saying that EOS is the Ethereum killer. And on one hand, these are dramatic statements, but on the other hand, it's because the Bitcoin still has challenges around the number of transactions it can process, and whichever these technologies can solve these solutions better and faster, I think you will start to see people moving towards, because most people just want things to work well and things to serve what they want to do.
Yeah.
And it's almost like format wars, and the format wars haven't been resolved yet. So we are in a fast changing time. At the same time, with you saying that you're up till between 2 and 5 in the morning, with the ICOs, we have to work with them to communicate to their community about managing expectations, because while an ICO may seem like it happens in 3 to 6 weeks, to build the technology and build it right and build it well and bug tests and everything, that's actually at least 6, 9, 12 months and more. So you have a slight clash in expectations between, I bought my token, when's it going to the moon, versus, well, actually you bought your token, if it's a good one, to invest in a relevant technology, and those technologies still can't be built in 2 days.
No, they can't. Wow. So you did you come from a media background? Did you come from news and television?
So yes, but no. So let's see, right? I guess I had first career, you could say, was TEFL, which is teaching English as a foreign language.
Okay.
So I lived in Mexico and Costa Rica and Madrid, and so that was a way. Back in the 90s, there were no jobs in England, and you either went and did bar work, which obviously meant lots of late nights and smoky evenings, or what was better paid was you did TEFL. And the good thing about TEFL in the space we're in now is it's very important as an editor to remind your writers to remember that not everybody's English is their first language.
Yeah.
Therefore, I'd rather my writers wrote in a way that many people will read it who happen to be Russian or Nigerian, or so therefore remember that your audience isn't all native English speakers. So I guess that's the first thing. Then we had an environmental education company, and so we would spend a lot of time sending stories to the media. So we were on the other side of the fence trying to work out how to get stories covered. Then the recession came in 2008, and this is all nice, but there was no funding left for environmental education at the time. So then I figured I had to retrain. So I became a software engineer with Ericsson, and I was the worst one in the class. but very badly. But what I realized is even in a deeply tech company, you still need to have people that are customer facing, and so therefore that was the space I wanted to move into, to work out what the really smart guys were doing, but how could they communicate out to the public about, because the thing is as we all know with deeply tech areas, is they like interesting problems, and they're more interested in solving complex problems rather than necessarily listening to what their customers want.
Yeah.
And so you need people in the middle to mediate that. And so, I can sit here now and look back, like Steve Jobs, and say you can join up the dots with hindsight, and I can see that the common theme between those 3 or 4 things is about how do you communicate, how do you get your message across to other people, and don't lose people in technical jargon, or so TLAs, 3-letter acronyms, because people like to slip into their own exclusive language. Then, so from that, IrishTechNews is 4 years ago. CryptocoinNews, as we say, moves fast, is less than a year ago. But I can definitely see a common thread from the last 20 or 30 years of it's okay to ask stupid questions. If no one else in the room understands what you're talking about, it doesn't mean that you're smarter than them. It means you're not communicating well.
That's right.
So, yeah.
That's kind of why I started this myself, because I didn't have enough information, and I didn't care if I was asking stupid questions, because I saw that there wasn't a lot of people giving me the right answers. So I was obviously not being fed what I wanted to know, and it was more like you said, people trying to sell me a coin, not trying to explain to me the technology behind it, or what's driving this. How come it's so exciting?
Yeah, and look, I mean, also editorially, I tried to make sure that we don't just do stories about Bitcoin up, Bitcoin down. I would rather remember, why is blockchain interesting? Why is it potentially a transformational technology? What's it doing in medical or data, or the stories we do cover that range of things. 1, to explain the technology, and 2, to explain how it could be transformational and often for social good as well. Because obviously the trouble is, if you keep writing stories about Bitcoin going up, well, there's going to be a point where it's going to go down, and in theory, not everyone's going to want to keep reading about how they've lost 90% of their investment.
No.
So I'd rather try and get people back onto the big picture about why and when it's appropriate and it can do interesting things. And I think that's actually a very interesting area that could be transformational.
Absolutely. And I've said this a few times, that I think this is a way that if everyone plays together nicely the way that everybody has been so far, it's just going to be a really great time for people who have been financially despair and not thinking they're going to have a future, and they can actually look forward to being okay.
Yeah, look, I mean, so potentially this is the way that it could be the opposite, like not a zero-sum game, that it could be something where it could float the boat for many people. And I think that's a good thing. And, if we tie it up with Internet of Things and AI, and the potential, but Internet of Things can help with blockchain, because blockchain is basically a measurement of value and the ability to deal with large amounts of complex data.
Yeah.
So as sensors go down in price, the things that it could do, even say for personal health, and that you could have personalized health, and it's on the blockchain and it's relevant to you, and the medication is appropriate to you. These are all areas that could affect us in a positive way. And then equally, the other way is so we moved to live on an island 3 years ago now, and
wow,
we'd always lived in cities, but we weren't, and we liked not living in cities, but we weren't sure how to do that and make a living. And what's begun to become possible is that if you can demonstrate that you're good at what you do and you're punctual and you deliver good work, your location becomes less of an issue.
Yeah.
So it's gradually becoming more possible to be distributed in how we work. And obviously something like blockchain is a fantastic facilitator of that as well. So like you say, potentially it could enable many other people to have better qualities of life, because maybe they don't need to then be paying so much of their income on rent to live in the city, because maybe they don't need to be living in that part of town anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like even myself, you're doing a podcast or whatever this is. I don't have to have a big studio. I'm doing this out of the bedroom, and I got plenty of space to do what I need to do. I got my computer set up, and I can save money on lots of things. This isn't NBC or CBS, but I think that the quality of what we're trying to put out and what people are looking for, they're not really caring what's behind me or why does a microphone stick up like that? But it's fun, and then talking with people across the pond, and people that I would have never met you had it not been for Bitcoin or blockchain or whatever. But I think it's awesome. It's bringing a lot of the world together that people would have never obviously never met.
Yeah, look, I think it's great. I mean, so like I was saying, I mean, I can easily spend a month or two without going anywhere, and then when I go to somewhere like Kiev or Tbilisi, I'm speaking to people that I've had conversations with, who often I've never met in person, some of whom don't even live in that particular country, but it becomes the node for one point to have 30 conversations in a day.
Yeah.
So it's a great mixture of digital and then bursts of personal as well, and and it's kind of interesting and weird and nice that people want to speak to you because they like what you've done from what they've listened to and read up till now, without ever having, it didn't need to be on NBC or anything, but they like what you do, so therefore they're interested to talk to you in person when you're in the same place.
Right on. Yeah. So we're going to be doing a show here pretty soon, the North American Sports and Blockchain Conference in LA, and there's
interesting.
Yeah, that'll be in August in LA, and I think a big part of our audience is probably the European football, which we call bananas over here, but it's the soccer world, and I think that's going to be a big thing in changing the way that the business runs, not necessarily obviously how you play the sport, but the business behind the sport, contracts and ticketing and tokenizing teams and players and leagues. It's a new way to, and e-games too. I mean, I'm sure you guys do tons of story on e-games.
Yeah, it's big, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
As you probably saw, we did a piece about Michael Owen, the ex-Liverpool and Real Madrid striker, because he's released a token of Michael Owen, and you can see that it's a logical play. I mean, say like Ronaldo with maybe he has 30 million followers on Twitter. Now I think about half are fake, but even if you take away the fake ones, there's still potentially 10 million people that are interested in a particular athlete. So, I guess, we're already going there with image rights and things anyway. So, blockchain potentially is another way to measure that. So I think it's interesting. I mean, like with sport, I'm still looking at it to try and work out what it can do, because I read Moneyball and I loved Moneyball, so I think it's interesting, but then you can maybe over apply that, and I'm still, because I've coached teams, so I'm trying to work out, can it all be reduced to data, or where's the human's role in this? Where's creativity space against data-based insights?
Yeah, it is, and you're cutting out a lot of the middlemen too that are kind of padding their walls just to hide data or to control data, and when this gets up on the blockchain, I think it reveals a lot of things that people were not really understanding what they were paying for, and it's great, and I don't completely understand. I'm not even pretend I understand it, but from what I've talked to other people, how they're going, hey, this can do this, this, and this, and it's going to cut out a lot of the middlemen. The people are getting fat for no reason, and really streamline things.
Well, look, if you look at soccer with agents, there'll be transfers, especially in the UK, and it'll work out that maybe 8 million of a 24 million transfer was the agent's fee.
Mm-hmm.
So, at the moment, it's definitely good for agents, but not necessarily good for the player or the club. So, I think there's definitely interesting potential, and until now it hasn't had to be disclosed. And so often when you read the stories about the transfer prices, there's almost like an asterisk that says this is what we think the transfer is. Like saying, I think it was, I'm not sure if it's Neymar or Messi, but of that amount, a large amount went to the agent. So
unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's a shame, because those guys work hard for that.
Yeah, I'd like to be sold for 200 million.
I'd like to be sold for $200, man.
You see, yeah, go on after you.
But man, and so we've got got a lot of stuff coming up here really soon, and your channels are just blowing up, and you're an advisor for so many different companies. You're on ICO. You're
Bench,
ICO Bench, and you're vetting and giving it lots of really good advice and you're not being pulled in any one direction, but I'm sure you're spreading yourself pretty thin, and
I think it's nice because it's like startups on steroids.
Yeah.
You do see a lot of ideas come your way, and often even just by reading them, they might not necessarily have all their stuff together to work with, but it still helps to give you a pulse of where things are going. And so I've seen quite a lot for shipping and cargo. So you can definitely see that that's an area that's ripe for blockchain applied technology.
Yeah, I did a show with the guys from Cargo Coin. So and they.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So yeah.
Bogomil.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
Cool guy.
I think it's logical. It makes sense, and therefore, it's a mixture of digital and real world. That the digital can track real world things, and potentially it's taking the drudge work out for humans, and but bringing value.
Yeah.
So I think they'll do well.
Wow.
Morpheus is another one. There's a couple out there, but I guess luckily there's quite a few different elements to it. So even in one business, there's still there's space for people to be innovative.
Yeah, there is, and just haven't even begin to scratch the surface on what's going to happen here in the future, and it's looking pretty cool. So, man, Simon, it's been great talking with you. I'm sure you're just moving into your new pad there, and I'm sure you're not even unpacked. And
so it's that mixture of living in boxes and then a delivery from IKEA coming, and then it's like Lego, and you have to turn your brain off. Don't question the process. Just do it, because if you question it, you'll get it wrong.
Absolutely. I know. Yeah.
So doing interviews is good because it means I don't have to put up another table for another half an hour.
Oh my God, yeah, and building out the Korgan block and putting up the Schmacken deal. I've built plenty of those, man, with the little Allen wrenches that don't quite fit, and they slip out and you bust your knuckles on them. Yeah, I've been there.
Yes. Look, it's good to talk, and I mean, very much, we're happy to promote people through the websites. We try to be helpful. So if there's anything we can do to help people, they can follow our details, and we're quite easy to find and contact.
Yes, I got all your details up here, Simon. We're gonna put all this in the show notes. I'm sure there's nothing new for most of the people out there that all these links and plenty of people know who you are. So keep doing the Lord's work here in the blockchain space, and hopefully we get to hang out really soon, man.
Cool. Yeah, I hope so. Texas was the last time I was over, but I am definitely interested in doing something on the West Coast. I saw that you guys on the West Coast were doing something on a boat, a military boat or something.
Really?
Last month.
Oh.
Yeah,
man.
So we get these invites to crazy things, and you're like, that's nice, but it is 6,000 miles away.
Yeah, you can't just hop on an Uber and get over here, can you?
No, I guess we'll get you to go for a trip with us.
All right. Well, I hope you can get out here in August. It'd be cool to have you up on up on stage. And I'd give you plenty of platform to talk about whatever you need there, especially the ultimate frisbee. That would.
Yeah. Look, I mean, so I'll tell you one thing about that is in the 70s they had in the Rose Bowl they had a final and had 40,000 people in the stadium, and we watched the video and it was cool. And the nice thing, a bit like, I guess here's the thing with blockchain and Vitalik Buterin, is it's nice when the things that you think are cool, the founders are still alive and still saying what they think.
Yeah.
And so I think even with Ultimate Frisbee, most of them are still alive. They're in their 70s. And the same with crypto. It's still so new. Things move faster now that, people are still doing really interesting things in real time around us.
Yes. Yeah, it is. It really is. I came from the world of sports racing and historic racing, and I was interviewing these guys that were in their 80s and 90s that I had video of them in the 50s racing around in unseat belted cars and just going crazy, and they really light up when you start talking to them about what was going on back in their past. So I'm sure this is going to be happening too with us whenever we're in our 70s and 80s talking about the early days of crypto. I remember it when I was a kid.
But I think so. I think it is that Wild West that I think when regulation's coming and things will settle down.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you can read it right now, then people have already done very well, and it does then give you freedom to do what you're interested in the future. Mm-hmm. So it's an exciting time, So
it is.
I think it's great.
It is. Good talk, man.
Cool. All right. Thank you very much.
All right, Simon. Talk to you soon, brother.
Bye bye.
All right.